that after your I would get the opportunity to present. It's a very important occasion, and thank you so much, sir, for highlighting the AI and the future trends in 2020, maybe in upcoming years in 2050 or 2060, and the what are the modern context of research, which is incredibly enjoyable. And it reminds me also that I think in during in 60s or 1960s or 70s, one very famous series everyone maybe know about it, that is the Star Trek. So Martin, which is using a space communicator, which is actually the base of the invention of the mobile phones which we are using now. So it was first shown in a movie and then the invention has happened. So this is how the idea, the perception of ideas can go through. Now, without any further ado, I would like to share my screen. And today I will also talk about two aspects I will talk about. One is I will, since it's purely in a quantitative research, I will also present one quantitative model, which I feel that we can use it in our research. And then I will also talk about indexing. Like, for example, the journey of an academician and a researcher. I will talk about through it, and then I will also know would like to have the comments from, or the thinking cap should be on from our academicians and scholars, that what should be the real advantages and what should be the way forward in terms of our research. So I would like to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible. I will go for full screen. So very warm welcome. Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the global academicians and scholars, those who are present today in our NextGen Tech, and those who are watching us in across the globe in our social media handles. Very warm welcome. Today, I would like to discuss one very important aspect, actually two aspects I would like to discuss. One which is purely in terms of the quantitative research models, that what kind of a quantitative research model which we can also adapt. And it is not only for the quantitative researchers, it can be also used by the qualitative researchers. Now, our main concern every time is that whenever we go for any research study, we want to make sure that something unique, something collaborative, something multidisciplinary should come into the play, so that it can give a new dimension to our research work, which is very imperative, very important, because novelty and the art of interpretation is always very integral to your success as a scholar. You have to think. Critical thinking is the backbone of every researcher, every scholar. And academicians also, we have to make sure that we have to get updated information in the current trends. What are the research work is going on, and how I can learn these things and also can contribute towards the success of the research journey. Now, let's start first with the quantitative models, and then I will come to the indexings, that what are the already existing indexings which is available for academicians, for scholars. People are giving them citations, they are having certain numbers attached to them. What are the true story? What are my personal feeling, and how edoxia is changing the entire concept of this particular aspect, where we can give someone, some academician or researchers, global academicians and researchers, a certification in the name of only citation. Does it holds water to check the credibility in actual contribution of an academician? Let's check it out. But first, let's move to the research part. And I will mainly discuss this because in our research journey, one thing is very important, that is the publications. Now, whenever we go for any publication, the first question we have to ask ourselves also, that is this manuscript is an excellent one, has the novelty. Does my research have an impact, or does the readers, worldwide readers, is my audience or not? And does it contributes to the success, or it contributes to the research gap, what I'm highlighting, the research problems or not? Now, first of all, we have to think in terms of the models. Now, If you're not from the mathematics background, if you're not from the statistic background, do not worry. AI is here. Previously, what we used to do is we used to have certain softwares, not AI integrated. They are the softwares which can give us certain specific outcome on depending upon the data which we are feeding and depending upon what we want from them to utilize the data and show us that what is the way forward in terms of the results. But now the AI is in the next level. You have to understand. Let's talk about the machine learning. Now, we have so many softwares which can drive the reactors, which can, especially in the quantitative research, the pharma industry, you can go for material sciences, you can go for life sciences, natural sciences, chemical sciences. All of them are basically driven by the analytical tools. What are these tools? These tools are basically driven by the softwares. What are these softwares? These softwares basically are the main backbone of the entire saga, if we can talk about, especially in terms of, and in these softwares are driven by the quantum computing, as we can say, the binary by bits are 0, 1. So now everything comes, we can go for a reverse engineering and we can think that everything depends upon these mathematical models which has given and how it can interpret in a software. The finally software runs the machines, the machines will do the work, and then we will get the final result. Now, as a researcher, let's start exploring these mathematical models. I will give you one very simple example. Like, for example, if I'm a researcher, let's say my background is from the natural sciences and I'm doing a biological science. I'm a biologist, so I will go for certain experimentations. Now, in my lab, before that, I will design certain experiment depending upon the problems that I'm addressing, and my experimental study should match, okay, or should excel the already existing results. Now, if you're doing the research which is giving you the same results which has been reported in 10 years back, then I'm sorry, there is no use. There may be some new thinking or new ideas must be generated in your research question, in your models. Something unique must come. Very classical example is come as a response surface methodology. I'm sure everyone from the quantitative background, those who are using this particular aspect as a statistical tool to, to analyze, they are very familiar with RSM. Previously, of course, the central composite designs, which is a mathematical model used for parameters, design of experiments, which is used. And then we will move towards the response surface methodology, where we will tackle about, we will see how factors are affecting the responses. Now, if the factor is affecting the response in a positive manner, it is directly proportional to the response, then we will categorize him as an excellent factor or a positive factor. And if the factor is actually irreversibly proportional, is actually decreasing the response, then of course we will highlight this thing. So everything will be in terms of the mathematical model. But now I'm a researcher. I want to do something in my lab. Okay, for example, let's talk about an qualitative researcher's problem and how we can include this in a quantitative mode. So kind of a mixed method approach, how we can do that. For example, if I'm a researcher, I'm doing a research on education. Okay, in education, my primary concern is to see that how certain specific demographic part, let's talk about Nigeria, for example, or Kano, or for example, or for Ethiopia, for example, any particular demographic part where the students are, I want to know their learning capacity, how the students are acquiring, learning new things and adapting new things in terms of the pure education, the concept. Now, there are so many factors which comes into the play of the students learning. Of course, the environment, the teachers, how they are propagating, what are the new innovative ways they are taking, what are the socio-economical background of the students, how mentally they are fit, how physically they are fit, to imbibe that particular knowledge. So all those factors are there, and my primary response is the learning capacity of the students. Now, if I put this into one mathematical model, which is very simple, like a CCD composite model, where y is equal to, I have shown the equation. Let's say y, for example, is my response. Okay, learning capacity equals to, then my factors, all the factors I will do, n1, n2, n3, n4, and then I will give this to a statistical tool and tell him that this is my factors, this is my response. Please suggest me any design of experiment that I can do, and then I will perform that experiment. Now, AI can help you in that one. Previously, we are doing so many mathematical equations. There are even in the softwares we have to do. I can remember that even in Excel, we used to give from the solver functions, we used to drive certain equations. Then we will take it to the lab. We will do the experiment. Then again, we will go back to the Excel. We will fit our data. Then we will see that if it is if the equation is right or not. Gone are the days. How AI can help you? AI can design of experiment. Depth researchers, please try this, because something unique should come, and then the publications are always very, very easy because you have adopted something new. Please do not give the same statistical analysis, the t-test, and this is gone. This is gone 20 years back. Now, in the modern context, if you want to go for a good publication, you need very, very innovative ways. And then you will have one regression model. Generally, in this regression model, you fit your thing in the experiment, what you have done, you put that regression model and see that if they are matching or not. If mathematics model will say that the learning capacity is 90% and your experimental study will say, yes, it is coming out as 90%, then the model is valid and you can publish that model. This will give the uniqueness to your publication. And in terms of any optimization you want to do, especially from the quantitative researchers, I think they are already adopting this particular thing. So my important part is you can take the help of AI in research gap, design of experiments. You can also ask him to go for certain contour plots that you want to make depending upon the XYZ factors versus response. Okay, so in this way, one quantitative model that you can use it in the qualitative research. You can use it as a mixed method, very simple method, and by certain applications of SPSS or from Statistica, from Minitower, any, or even in Sigma, any any statistical software you can take, they are capable of doing the design of experiment. But first, ask the research genius, ask the chat GPT that give me a very comprehensive design of experiment, and then also do your research gap. Research gap can be done because the data is already existing with the chat GPT. Then he will also help you in whether your idea is novel, whether your idea hold waters to go for further research, if the answer quickly towards the academic journey. Now, for example, I have done my quantitative research, I have written my wonderful manuscript, and I have published my manuscript. Now, what is happening is that if my manuscript is published, of course, I will do the references, and in references, generally there are citations for other authors. We have seen in the modern context so many, and especially in social media and Twitter handles, the Nobel laureates are talking about these kind of scams. Now we have took notice of it, because you see, whenever any professor or a student or a group is writing any publication, there is always self-citations. Okay, that you can, it's like you scratch my back, I will scratch your back. So give citations to your known members, give citation unnecessarily in the introduction sections. And this has been highlighted by a Nobel laureate that recently, I won't name the publication house, I won't name the paper, you can check it on Twitter, that they are saying that forcefully the reviewers are asking for the citations to be added in the manuscript. Now, What is this? This is a purely unethical practices. Yes, if as a reviewer, as a peer, if some insights are there, something is missing, yes, I can recommend certain citations, but just randomly put the citations so that they will get more citation. The indexing, which has been there from a very renowned, worldwide known Google, or you can take the example of Microsoft, they are all based on the citations only. Now, as an academician, as a researcher, what is my day start? My day starts with the morning. I prepare for my classes. I will float new courses. I will teach my students. I will clear their doubts. Meanwhile, I'm also organizing certain events so that more participation will be there. I'm participating in international conferences. And then in the evening, I'm writing certain articles. So all this contribution has no effect in terms of as an academic credibility or a researcher's credibility in terms of Google index, or what we call the Harris index, H index, or I index. No, only citations. So if I have written one paper and I've asked 40 members to cite my paper in their particular research article, then my citations will be there. So the more networking I can make, I can have more citation. This is what is happening. 20 authors, 15 authors in a single manuscript is there. So we have to very importantly and integrally go for this, especially nowadays in terms of the citations, the fast public, so many scams are going on. Please, as a scholar, avoid these things. Now, our prime focus will be on A index. Now, A index we have launched after almost 3 years or 4 years of research. We have launched academic index where we not only, yes, publications are important, so we will give the importance on the publication only. So if you publish in Q1, yes, you will get a good marks. It's similar to like what we go for an API score or the exact replica of your true contributions. So if you have patents, what about the innovations? If you have patents, then you also get the numbers. If you work on certain events, if you participated in international conferences, you deliver certain notes, you deliver certain ideas, you organize certain events, you write something for the grants, you take some fundings, you do the students, you change their life. Comprehensive A indexing academic score has been launched from Edoxia. And my request is that please do visit the website for A indexing, that we actually wants to give you a pure contribution based. What is your actual contribution in academics and research? Overall contribution must be measured, not only the citations which can be driven unethically, and which is also happening. So in this way we can move forward. And finally, I would like to also invite you, since in Edoxia, as our Honorable President Sir has already mentioned, his book is out, and definitely before the 5th January, it will be available for the hard copies. You can order the hard copy worldwide. We can give it. It will be also available in Amazon. It will be available in Flipkart with a very low price range, so that everyone can get the opportunity to read it. And also our magazines are coming up. Business Tycoon Volume 6 is coming up, Academia. So please do contribute, all our frail members, all our FMERU fellow members, all our IIP PDF innovators, they can contribute in this e-magazines, and as well as the ISBN publications. Very important part. Please make sure whatever you write, the quality, the standard should be high, so that everyone, whoever reads it, will get not only the information but also change his way of thinking, change the life. It's a kind of a life experience for reading for these books or research beacon publications. The main ethos behind is to change the life of our scholars while reading and also executing the recent trends and research work. So this is my presentation for today. I have covered one very short quantitative model that you can use. And then, of course, the debate is on the indexing, which I feel that the overall research as well as the academic journey of an academician or a researcher must be respected, must be respected and give them a holistic approach as well. So with this, I would like to conclude my session. Thank you so much. I would like to thank our Honorable Chief Patron, Professor Dr. Rituraj Saikia, and also our convener, our patron, Professor Dr. Kalemayo, our convener, Dimitas Kakras, sir, our organizing secretary, Professor Edward, and Professor Dr. Rituraj Saikia, Professor Dr. Rajesh Kanur, sir, and also my fellow coordinator, Ashish Baldania, and our other members of the organizing committee. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you.